Hello, I am Dr. Miles. A brain aneurysm does not give you a warning. It hides, and when it bursts, it strikes hard and fast, often without any chance to react. Millions of people are walking around right now with an unruptured brain aneurysm, and most of them do not even know it. Today, we are diving deep into the truth about this silent killer. This is not just medical theory. These are proven, practical steps backed by science that could literally save your life. So, pause everything else and give your brain 10 minutes of protection that could change everything. You would never expect it from someone like Carol. 59 years old, a retired school librarian, living a quiet life in her Pennsylvania home. She made tea, read the paper, and walked her dog. She had no high blood pressure. She did not smoke. She never missed a doctor's visit. To everyone who knew her, she was the picture of gentle health. But on a Tuesday morning last fall, as she reached for her favorite mug, Carol dropped it. She clutched her head, a sudden, blinding pain unlike any headache she had ever felt. She staggered, then collapsed on the cold tile floor. By the time her husband ran downstairs, she was unconscious. She never made it to the hospital alive. What took Carol away was a silent killer she did not even know was growing inside her. A brain aneurysm. A tiny, ballooning weak spot on a blood vessel deep in her brain that finally burst without warning. Doctors later called it a subarachnoid hemorrhage, one of the deadliest forms of stroke. No chest pain. No slow buildup. Just a sudden, brutal rupture. Her family was left in shock, having never even heard of the symptoms. And no one had told them she was at risk, even though women in their 50s and 60s are statistically more vulnerable. It does not matter if you feel healthy. It does not matter if you eat clean. If there is a ticking time bomb in your head, you deserve to know. First, let's understand what a stroke actually is. Simply put, a stroke occurs when a region of our brain is suddenly deprived of blood and oxygen. There are two main ways this happens. The first is an ischemic stroke. This is when a blood vessel supplying the brain becomes blocked, often by a clot. Think of it like a blockage in your home's plumbing. This is the most common type, accounting for about 87% of all strokes. The second is a hemorrhagic stroke. This occurs when a blood vessel in the brain ruptures or bursts, causing bleeding into or around the brain tissue. This is less common but is responsible for about 40% of all stroke deaths. One of the most dangerous types of hemorrhagic stroke is caused by a ruptured brain aneurysm. Imagine a weak spot on the inner tube of a tire that starts to bulge out under pressure. That is similar to an aneurysm. A part of an artery in the brain balloons out. This thinned, bulging wall is fragile and can easily rupture, like an overinflated balloon, especially if there is a sudden increase in pressure. When it bursts, blood spills into the space surrounding the brain. This is a catastrophic event that can affect the entire brain, leading to coma, paralysis, and often death. Aneurysms often develop at the branching points of arteries because these junctions can be inherently weaker. Over time, the constant pressure of blood flow can cause these areas to bulge. Statistics from the Brain Aneurysm Foundation suggest that as many as 1 in 50 people in the United States may have an unruptured brain aneurysm. That is around 6 to 7 million individuals, with women, particularly those over 55, being affected more often than men. What is crucial to understand is that most of these unruptured aneurysms do not cause any symptoms and may never rupture. They are silent passengers. However, if an aneurysm does rupture, the symptoms are sudden and severe. Beyond the typical stroke symptoms like weakness on one side of the body, a ruptured aneurysm causes what is often described as the worst headache of your life. It can also cause a dilated pupil in one eye, blurred vision, nausea, and loss of consciousness. If you or anyone you know experiences these symptoms, call 911 immediately. Time is absolutely critical. So, the big question is, how can we prevent this? Since we often do not know an aneurysm is there, Prevention is not about treating the aneurysm itself, but about protecting the entire vascular system. It is about making your blood vessels as strong and healthy as possible. The American Stroke Association has clear recommendations. Here is what you need to focus on, starting today. First, control your blood pressure. This is the single most important step you can take. High blood pressure is the leading cause of all strokes, and it places constant, damaging stress on the walls of your arteries, including any potential weak spots. Think of it as constantly overinflating that weak spot on the tire. Get your blood pressure checked regularly. If your doctor prescribes medication, take it exactly as directed. Do not stop just because you feel fine. This is a silent battle. Second, do not smoke. And avoid secondhand smoke. Smoking is a major risk factor. The chemicals in cigarette smoke damage your blood vessel walls, cause inflammation, and can raise your blood pressure, creating the perfect storm for an aneurysm to develop or rupture. If you live with a smoker, you are still at increased risk. Third, adopt a heart-healthy diet. This means a diet rich in fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats from sources like olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish. These foods provide antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that protect your blood vessels. At the same time, you must reduce your intake of processed foods, hidden sugars, and excessive salt, all of which contribute to high blood pressure and inflammation. Fourth, engage in regular physical activity. The American Heart Association recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate-intensity exercise per week. That is just 30 minutes, 5 times a week. Brisk walking, swimming, cycling, or dancing are all excellent choices. Exercise helps maintain a healthy weight, control blood pressure, and improve the overall health of your circulatory system. Fifth, maintain a healthy weight. Being overweight or obese is a significant risk factor for stroke and many other chronic diseases. It puts extra strain on your entire cardiovascular system. Even a modest weight loss can result in a significant improvement in blood pressure and overall risk. Sixth, manage other chronic conditions. This is absolutely vital. If you have diabetes, work diligently to manage your blood sugar levels. If you have high cholesterol, work with your doctor to control it. Conditions like these can damage your blood vessels over time, making them more prone to blockages or rupture. Now, what about screening? Many people ask if they should get scanned for a brain aneurysm. The current guidelines state that routine screening is generally not recommended for the general population. However, imaging tests like an MRA or CTA may be considered for individuals with a very strong family history, such as having 2 or more first-degree relatives, parents, siblings, or children who have had a brain aneurysm. Certain genetic conditions also increase risk. This is a conversation to have with your doctor. A stroke is one of the most silent and deadly threats we face, but it is not a death sentence. We can prevent most strokes by taking small, consistent, daily actions. It starts with managing your blood pressure, eating a healthy diet, moving your body, and not smoking. These are not just suggestions. They are the pillars of a long and healthy life. Now, I want to hear from you. What is one small, positive change you will commit to this week to take care of your brain and lower your stroke risk? Share your commitment in the comments below. If this video helped you better understand how to protect your brain, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you love.